It's hard for me to believe that in about a month, this channel is turning 6 years old.
Happy birthday!
And in that time, I have produced several hundred videos. So I thought today we'd do something kind of different. I'm going back in the vault and we're going to watch a video from a few years back, and I'm going to share some of my thoughts about it. I'm going to tell you what it would cost today since it's a budget cooking video. And I'm going to show you some things that I would do a bit differently.
You should see that toast. I couldn't even get it through the door.
The video that we are going to watch some of today is from December of 2021. It's a budget cooking video where I made 2 meals for about $8 total with ingredients from Aldi. And I made this video almost 2.5 years ago because it's May 2024 when we are watching this now. So it's going to be a blast from the past, to be sure. Music. I remember when I used to use music montages at the beginning of all of my videos. Welcome back to See Mindy Mom, and if you're new here, I'm so glad you found me. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I am sharing with you 2 family meals, 2 meals that I made for my family of 5 with ingredients that I purchased at Aldi for around $8 total. Funny, see that Pioneer Woman cookbook in the background? I actually just made a video, a Pioneer Woman cooking video using that cookbook. I also remember this little title screen that a friend of mine made for me. I don't really use those anymore. We have tried to tighten up my intros. Pop. I've done many of these along with other extreme budget or budget cooking videos. I have several of them in a playlist. I will leave that linked in the description box below if you are new to my channel or if you are looking for something specific. And for the record, I do still have that budget cooking playlist linked in the description box below. It just has a lot more videos that I've added to it since then. Okay, I'm still talking. This intro is getting super long. We're minute 13 in. And this is where I'm starting to give some qualifications and starting to try to preempt some comments sometimes that I would get on my channel from people asking, for specific things or critiquing things. I don't even bother doing that anymore. I still like to chat, but we're gonna jump ahead here to the grocery haul. Let's get going here. Where is it? Okay, so I'm about to just walk through this little grocery haul, which you can pretty much see all of. We've got a bag of mixed vegetables, a block of mozzarella cheese, a pound of pork sausage, which I still like to use in my budget cooking videos a lot because it's already seasoned, so a little bit of it goes a long way. I've got a can of tomato soup. I've got a can of diced tomatoes. I have a pound of pasta, and then a 24-ounce container of cottage cheese. So I did get a screenshot of this particular part of the video, and I went into Aldi yesterday to find out what these ingredients would cost today. I spent about $8 back then on these ingredients, but today they would cost me around $11.73. The only thing I could not find was the tomato soup. I guess because it's closer to summer, maybe Aldi isn't carrying their condensed like tomato soup or chicken noodle soup. So I just guessed based on the price of the cream of chicken and cream of mushroom that they have there. But $11.73 in 2024 when it used to be about $8 back in 2021. Okay, we're gonna jump ahead just a little bit because look, it's me talking some more and I'm still talking. I talk about using just some pantry spices. I'm gonna try to keep it really simple and just use stuff from the pantry. Since these are family meals, I think that that's perfectly reasonable. I talk about blending up the cottage cheese, and I'm gonna use half the pasta in one meal and half the pasta in another. We're getting to about almost 9 minutes in, and I'm starting to make this first dish. I've got half the pasta cooking next to me. I already cooked up the ground beef. I've set half of it aside so that I could use it in the other recipe. I put the vegetables in the microwave and then I pop them in with the cooked sausage and then seasoning that with garlic powder and salt and pepper. So that is a cup of cottage cheese, and I put some pasta water in there while it was cooking, and then I popped that in the blender so that I could kind of puree that cottage cheese and make a sauce with it. Okay, so this dish definitely has like all of the things that you would want to see. You've got some protein, you've got some vegetables, you've got some richness with the cheeses that are in it. But I've got another idea for how I think I can do something different with some similar ingredients that we're gonna make here in just a minute. Behind me, it's actually going to be dinner tonight, which is fantastic. I'm making it ahead of time. I have the other half of my cooked sausage here in this big pot, and I have turned the heat on about medium to medium high. And to that, I'm going to add my can of diced tomatoes. And then I filled the can halfway up with water, and I'm putting that in. My can of tomato soup, 1 can of water, a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, a teaspoon of garlic powder, salt and pepper to taste, won't take much, and a dash of red pepper flake. I'm just using one of these packs. So what we have going on here, I think, is like a skillet lasagna, basically. And cooking the pasta in the sauce and the other ingredients is a great way to add flavor. It's basically like a hamburger helper style dish, right? It's all one pot. So I'm gonna mix up this cottage cheese, the rest of the cottage cheese with the rest of the mozzarella cheese that I purchased. And then I think I ended up just putting it on top of the dish. You could actually put little dollops of it into the pot after the pasta's done cooking and put the lid back on and just let it kind of all melt together for about 5 minutes or so once the heat is off from the stove. But again, I think I just put it, yeah, I did. Just put it right on top here because I really like the combination of the cold cottage cheese on the hot pasta. That's just the way that I like to eat it. And I would still eat this. Like, I still make stuff like this. I don't know if I've made this exact recipe from these ingredients, but that is something that is very similar to a lot of other dishes I've made throughout the years, or very similar to things that I still make. I have several takeaways from this little trip down memory lane, but one of them is how grateful I am for editing. And I probably saved us just 6 to 8 minutes fast forwarding through a bunch of chatty stuff. So if you think that I'm a talker now, boy, some of you who were around 3, 4, 5 years ago, you really endured a lot for me to get to the point. Today's video is sponsored by Pair Eyewear. Not only does Pair Eyewear make affordable frames in a variety of colors and styles, they also have magnetic toppers that you can purchase separately so that you can change up the style or functionality with just one little click. Now, I wear prescription lenses and I get a lot of compliments on these blue glasses in the Otis frame. And you also see me wearing these Casper frames. They have blue light filtering lenses, which are great since I do a lot of work on the computer. But they sent me a new pair to try on for you today. Say hello to the Wanda. I really wanted to try out some glasses with a darker base frame, which is why I chose the black. They even have licensed toppers to choose from, like Harry Potter, Marvel, Major League Baseball. So of course I had to pick up some Texas Rangers toppers. But since I spend a lot of time outside and in my car driving, the thing I love most about Pair glasses are the sun toppers, because I don't have to wait for lenses to transition or put bulky sunglasses over the top of my prescription lenses. I just click on the sun toppers and go. Right now you can enjoy 15% off your first pair of glasses with Pair Eyewear when you follow the link in the description box below, or you use my code CMindyMom15 at checkout from the Pair website. And while you're there on the Pair website, make sure that you take advantage of their virtual try-on feature. You can actually get an idea of what some of the frames and the glasses are gonna look like on your face before you purchase them. So again, that link is in the description box below. It'll give you 15% off your first pair with Pair Eyewear, or use my code CMindyMom15. And thank you again to Pair Eyewear for sponsoring today's video. The first thing I would do is swap out that 1 pound package of bronze cut pasta, which is coming in at $2.45 today, for a 2 pound package of standard pasta. I picked up the elbows and they cost me $1.88. So I'm able to now double the amount of pasta that I'm using, allowing me to use a pound in each recipe. As I said, I really think that skillet lasagna still holds up, but I did find a recipe using almost the same ingredients from healthyfitnessmeals.com. It is for a cottage cheese pasta. And all I would need to do to make that work, in addition to just using some pantry seasonings that it calls for, is to swap out the can of tomatoes for a 24-ounce jar of marinara. Then I would probably swap out that package of mixed vegetables for a package of green beans to go along with that, because they're virtually the same price and we like those better as a veggie side. I will leave a link to that cottage cheese pasta recipe I found in the description box below. It does not call for the mozzarella cheese or the tomato soup like I used in the skillet lasagna, so I would actually replace those 2 items with a block of sharp cheddar and a can of diced tomatoes and green chilies. And for the other recipe, we are going to make a sort of Tex-Mex taco protein-rich mac and cheese. I measured out a pound of pasta, which is half of my 2-pound box of elbow noodles. It's about 4 cups if you're using a measuring cup. And I added that to 4.5 cups of salted water that I brought to a boil on the stove. That has been cooking for about 7 or 8 minutes. I have 2 cups of my cottage cheese here in my blender cup. And what I'm gonna do is add a little bit of this starchy water. I'm gonna try to get about 1/3 of a cup or so, like probably 5 or 6 tablespoons of this starchy water in here. I'm gonna blend it up in my blender, and then we're gonna come back and add it to the pasta along with some other ingredients. Honestly, if you don't care about the texture of cottage cheese, I think it's fine for you to skip this step. It's just gonna make for a smoother sauce for the mac and cheese if you blend it up beforehand. And since my cottage cheese was cold, I wasn't too worried about adding some of the hot water to it. It still was pretty chilly for it to go into my blender. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my heat down just a little bit too, back down to medium. To this, I'm gonna add some taco seasoning. You can purchase a packet, I think for around 50 cents at my Aldi, but I just make mine homemade from seasonings that I keep on hand in the pantry. It's like chili powder, onion powder, garlic powder, oregano, salt and pepper, a little cornstarch, probably a couple tablespoons of that, and my can of diced tomatoes with green chilies. Salt and pepper to taste. I'm gonna stir this all together, and I'm gonna bring it back up to a simmer, and I'm just gonna let it keep cooking until the pasta is done. It should take another probably 3 to 4 minutes to get that pasta just a little bit softer. The last thing I'm doing is adding my cheese. I grated up that 8-ounce block of cheddar cheese, so that's the equivalent of about 2 cups, and I'm gonna stir that into the pasta once it's done, and once the cheese is melted, it is ready to eat. Serious question for you guys. Do you eat mac and cheese with a spoon or with a fork? I've always eaten it with a fork, but I feel like my kids and several other members of my family use a spoon. Which one do you think is the appropriate mac and cheese utensil? I'm just curious. Okay, best part of my job right here. Hot off the stove. Really hot. Oh man, that is good. Oh, the taco seasoning and the Rotel just gives it a nice kick. It's really creamy. Yum. Okay, we gotta make this. That's a keeper whether you're on a budget or not. And here's something that may be surprising. If I were to divide this pot up into 6 servings, it would have over 25 grams of protein per serving. That's because the cottage cheese is protein rich with 11 grams of protein per serving, and I use 4 servings in this recipe. We've got the cheese. Even the pasta has 7 grams of protein per serving, and I used 8 servings in my pot. So over 125 grams of protein in that entire pot of mac and cheese without having any meat in it at all. I think that that's pretty impressive. As I stated earlier, the ingredients for the original meal plan in the old video would cost me $11.73 today. For the ingredients for the new and improved version, or the new and different version that I'm creating today, it would cost me $12.05. So only about 30 cents more for the ingredients to make the meals the way that I'm making them now. If you like this style of video and you want to see more recaps and do-overs of old videos and meal plans, leave me a comment and let me know. Pick out one of these videos to watch next, and I'll see you there.